In a world of challenges and uncertainties, hope shines as a beacon, guiding us through the dark times and showing us the way to brighter days ahead. But what exactly is hope? Where does it come from? And how does it shape our lives? I'm Annie Bennett, and I'd love you to join me on this journey as I explore the meaning of hope. I'll delve into philosophical perspectives, personal stories, and scientific insights to understand the power of this elusive emotion. So whether you're seeking inspiration, comfort, or simply a deeper understanding of the human spirit, let's embark on this exploration together and discover the extraordinary power of hope. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Chronicles of Hope with me, Annie Bennett. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about our aims for the Chronicles of Hope, the charitable organisation that we're going to be setting up. At the moment, the plans are that it's going to be a CIC rather than a charity. There is a slight difference, but we're hoping to set up a CIC. And my daughters and I have been talking a lot about what we want this organisation to actually achieve. And we've come up with 3 missions that I'd love to share with you today. So mission 1, this is the sort of overriding mission and the most important one. And mission 1 is to provide emotional and financial support for young adults whose parent has been diagnosed with a life-limiting illness. This is obviously the most important one because this is where the whole journey started with my 2 daughters, Heather and Eleanor, who were 20 and 23 at the time of my diagnosis. They were doing an awful lot to support me, taking time off work. They were running me to the hospital, sitting with me in appointments, and just generally doing an awful lot for me. And it was this that really sowed the seed of what I would love our charity to be all about. So we're going to be focusing on those young adults from around 18 to around 25, although we will be flexible with that, obviously. One of the things that we're going to hopefully facilitate is counselling of some sort, whether it's one-to-one or whether it's group counselling, whatever the young adult needs at that time, we will try and facilitate for them. The other idea that we've had from a friend of mine actually was having someone who's not a stand-in parent, but someone who can be there to perhaps sort out everyday life that the parent normally would, but obviously, the parent might be poorly or unable to help. So what I'd really love to do is gather a hub of volunteers who are on hand to support with that everyday life. Really basic things and simple things and everyday things that most of us sort of take for granted, but for a young adult, they're a bit of a minefield. Things like, paperwork that's involved when you're renting somewhere, or paperwork that you get from an energy company, basically any communication with any sort of official body that may need explaining, or the young adult might not have experience of. My daughters are always, "Mum, what's this mean?" They'd get a letter from someone or a company, or their car insurance or whatever it is, and they just go, "Is this right? Am I doing this right?" And I go, "Yeah, fine." We'd love to have a hub of volunteers who can do that as well. So that's one of our aims. We'd love to set that up, and we'll be starting to think about how we can, first of all, perhaps approach people that we know, but eventually perhaps have an application system where people that think that they would love to do this will be able to actually apply. Obviously, all people will be vetted, CRB checked and everything, so it'll all be very, very safe. So that's a sort of the emotional side, the everyday life side. But we'd also love to be able to provide financial support. The cost of having cancer, although for me it's not been phenomenal, there is a cost there. particularly in the early days when you're getting diagnosed and you're having to go to hospitals, you're having to go for scans. The petrol costs we found really did add up. So what we'd like to do is have a system whereby those young adults, if it's those young adults that are doing the driving and the transporting their parent, we'd love to be able to offer some help with the cost of that, and really any other cost that might be involved, and also that support with everyday life in terms of perhaps having a cleaner in or a gardener in just to tidy up the garden so that it's a lovely place for you all to sit out as a family. Things like that we think would make a real difference. Only small things, but they would make a big difference to that family, knowing that you can get on with things and not have to worry about having to clean the house because someone's going to come in and do it for you. That would relieve a lot of the burden, we think. So that's where we're going with that. We're perhaps going to find a company that we can work with that we can pay direct, for example, and then they will send the cleaners or the gardeners or whatever's needed to that family. So that's our first mission, to provide emotional and financial support for young adults whose parent has been diagnosed with a life-limiting illness. Our second mission really has only been recently formulated. I was on a retreat, a London retreat, a couple of weeks ago. We had a talk from a lovely professional who was talking about spa days. And I sat there thinking, wouldn't it be fabulous to be able to gift something like a spa day to a parent and their adult children so that they can have that memory? So this is what we'd like to do. We would love to be able to give these families, the young adults and their parent, experiences that otherwise they wouldn't be able to access. So it could be spa days. That was the thought that sort of triggered the whole idea. But of course, it may be there may be a whole list of things that we haven't yet thought of. I mean, me and my girls love going to the theatre, musicals in London, so that might be something. But obviously, we'd be open for ideas, and we haven't completely finished the list of ideas for that one. But what we do is we'd set up on our donations page an opportunity for our supporters to actually buy that for somebody. You know, in the same way that Oxfam does a buy a goat for someone for Christmas. We're not going to give out goats, don't worry, we're not going to do that. But it's that idea of when you want to buy someone a gift for Christmas and you don't know what to give them, you can gift them, you know, I've paid for someone to have a spa day in your name. And we thought that would be a lovely thing to try and set up. So that's one thing we're going to be doing there. So facilitating memory making experiences for young adults and their families. So that's the second mission. And our third mission has a double aim, really. Our third mission is to host social events that help people connect, help these young adults connect and feel less alone during these challenging times. So we want, you know, these young adults to be around people that get what's happening. They understand what's going on without them having to explain it the whole time. They're amongst like-minded people, not necessarily everyone that's experiencing exactly what they are, but they understand exactly what's going on. They will be able to, you know, to go along and just have a lovely time. So we were thinking, you know, things like bowling, things like perhaps quiz nights. Again, we haven't completed the list yet, and I'm relying on my daughters to help me with this because, you know, I'm nearly 58 and I haven't got a clue what young adults really like. I'll suggest things and they'll go, no, Mum, no, we don't want to do that. So it'll be my daughters and their friends that will suggest things that we could actually set up that these young adults would actually want to access. But as I said, this is a double aim, because these social events would be free for the people that we are actually supporting, but we would ask for contributions. We'd sell tickets for anyone that we're not supporting. So, their friends and come along and support our charity and also join in. So it would be a fundraising opportunity as well. We're also going to set up or to organise fundraising that will just be aimed at young adults, but just bring in the funds really. So the first idea that we'd had, in fact, my daughter had it, Heather, was having a kilo sale. Now, I don't know if you know about kilo sales, but it's basically a glorified jumble sale. People bring along clothes that they no longer need, and they pick up clothes that they fancy taking away. But rather than pricing every item, what you do is you just charge, I think it's £20, I think it's the going rate, £20 for a kilo. So they choose their clothes, whatever it is they want to buy, you weigh it, and it's £20 a kilo. And there's lots of those happening around at the moment. Vinted is really popular at the moment. So we thought this would be an ideal opportunity for young adults to come along and actually help support other young adults by, buying clothes, buying secondhand clothes. And then the other fundraising idea is to actually aim it at our supporters. So people that would support and donate. One idea that I had, I really love this idea, and I'd really love to do this because I do love a ball. So either a summer or a Christmas ball with dinner and entertainment, perhaps dancing, perhaps a band. And this would be really aimed at our supporters rather than our young adults. This one's a little bit further off because obviously it's going to take a lot more organising and possibly sponsorship as well. But that's another idea that we've had. And other ideas sort of in between. We're hopefully going to organise a quiz night. I can organise other theatre nights because we had our Victoria Wood evening in September, which was really successful. So I'm hoping to be able to organise similar events, perhaps some music events because I sing and I have a whole bunch of singing friends that we could organise a concert. And that would be aimed more at our supporters rather than the people that we are supporting. But all these ideas are all working towards our aims. So our aim 3 is to host social events to help people connect and feel less alone during challenging times. So those are our 3 missions. Those are what we're now focusing on. We're going to write the aims of our CIC based on those 3 things. And we're really hoping to get this all set up within a couple of months. I was hoping we might have it done before Christmas, but we'll see. Watch this space for that, because I'd really love in the new year to actually start helping people. We're obviously in the setting up phase now. We're not in a position to actually start helping people yet, but I want to be able to start doing that as soon as possible. So I'd love you to, if you've got any ideas for any events, any experiences, anything that I've talked about today, please do get in touch. You can get in touch via our website, thechroniclesofhope.org. I will put the email address up in the notes as well, so you can email us. And we will eventually put up a page on our website whereby anyone that feels they've got something to offer the charity or something they can help with, you'll be able to go to the website and just fill in the form, say, yes, I can do this for you. I've got one of these for you. I can organise this for you, and submit it to us. And then we can go from there, because obviously the more help we have with all this, the better. Just email us, info@thechroniclesofhope.org. So that's where we're up to at the moment. We're still very much in the planning and getting it organised phase, but we want to get our mission out. We want to really tell people what we're going to be about. so that we can start building those foundations of support, financial foundations, so that we can really start helping those people in 2025. Thank you so much for listening today. I look forward to our next episode. Thank you for listening to the Chronicles of Hope podcast with me, Annie Bennett. I hope you found inspiration, comfort, or perhaps even a newfound perspective around the meaning of hope. To find out more about the aims of the Chronicles of Hope organisation, please visit www.thechroniclesofhope.org, where you will find links to our social media accounts and where you will be able to make a much needed and appreciated donation. Thank you.